Okay, so here are my giant components. You can see everything clearly. Your base will be a 1 by... what was it? Let me get the model name. A model slash hunter slash plate 1x1.mdl, and your crank will be a model slash hunter slash block slash cube 025x1x025. Here's my regular engine, here's my large one. The red plate's the base, the blue plate is the crank. Alright, change some weight straight away here, shall we? I'm going to make the crank 250 and I'm going to make the base 500. Just as a starting point. You can always play with it later. Take the easy position, move first prop to second prop, the crank, click the block. You want the crank so it can do a full rotation without hitting the plate. So I'm going to go with 250. That's not going to do it. Let's try 500. That should be plenty. Let me just check that's the same on the scale model, because I don't want to be giving out settings that are wrong. Yeah, 500 is pretty good. It's a bit much, you can always tweak it down. Then, remote access. Right click the plate, right click the middle of the crank. Remote access made, give it a spin. As you can see, it clears the base plate nicely. And straighten that back up. Okay, thrusters. You're going to need a wall for this. You're using wire thrusters. Got a wire. Let's see, where are my thrusters? Button, physics controllers, thrusters. Here we go. I'm going to be using the little cube ones, not that little. Those little cube ones. That is the model slash hunter slash block slash cube 025 slash x025 x025. Using multiplier of 10. Everything else up to you. Force minimum minus 99999. Force maximum 99999. You're going to want at least 4 or 8. You want to sort of stick in pairs. You can do 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. If you start leaving one out, then the engine's going to thrash around. Why do you need a wall? If you do it to a prop, it's going to weld it. If you remove the prop, it will remove the thrusters. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just a wall, that way you know which way they're all pointing. If you do them on the ground, you might get confused because you'll... well, I always tend to pick stuff up and dick through it. Point the metal wall. Next, you go to your weight tool, change them all to 50. That's why you only need a low multiplier. Don't put a high multiplier in, the whole thing will kill. Then tick no collide gun, right click no collide each one. That'll no collide all the thruster, because these are going to be very close together and it's going to be a pain in the ass if they start hitting each other. Alright, once you get everything no collided, go back to the easy position tool, move first prop to second prop, and put the thrusters on the crank. You need a much lower offset now. You can just do 100, you could do 75, 50 might be a bit too small, I'll go 75. And then just keep placing each one.
I'm fairly sure you can all do this, I'll just do one side and I'll do the other side without recording it. So,
you've got a nice throw of thrusters next to your crank. Right, now for the other. So far you've got this. Got the crank in the middle, it's all free and clear of everything. Now to start roping. Start it up, change your crank so it's like that. Go to your rope tool, tick rigid, go from the outside of the thruster to the far side of the crank. I'm going to go for about there, and because we want these to push together, you can do 2 thrusters at the same time. Now, this is where it starts getting iffy. Come over to my scale one here. When the thrusters are together, like that. You turn the crank to go rope the next pair. The thrusters in front and behind will hide the thruster you need to wire up, rope up. Now you can just push these with a bit of a prop, or use position tool, rotate target prop, and decide which way you're going to turn it. I'm going to turn mine, I say, clockwise. So 1, 2. That's 90 degrees. You rope up the next one. And where's the middle? Let's say about there-ish. Doesn't have to be perfect, just sort of. Come on, give me the snap point.
I hate when I give you a snap point, you won't actually let it snap to. Stupid little blue thing. Let's line it up. So, use this into again. 6, 1, 2. Yeah, that's about middle on this, isn't it? Oh, feck's sake. Giant props. Oh, go underneath, just for the hell of it. Just 'cause I can't be asked to eyeball it. And the final pair right at the end. 1, 2. All the excitement in this. Ah, cracking yourself with glue.
Okay, so you got it all roped, but the thrusters at this point are still free to do whatever they want. If I unfroze this, thrusters would plonk to the floor. That's where the swinger part comes in. Need our old friend remote axes. I'm going to need my colour tool just to show something here. Right. The green thrusters, your remote axes, to the middle of the red plate. The reason we do this, and not all the thrusters to the middle, is you want all the throws to be the same length. So you basically have to cut the engine in half, figure out where to put the axes. So the green ones, which are the outer ones, your axes to the middle. These, hold on, we'll get colour tooled again, go with yellow. The yellow ones will be axes to this end, and the pink ones will be axes to the far end. You get that? I'll just show you quickly. So, green ones, right click a block, then right click the plate. Remember, you have to do it block to plate, not the other way around or it won't work. Some people don't seem to get that. Green thing, I'm going to have to belch in a moment. Where's my middle gone? Right. So all the green ones are axes to the middle. If we look at it like this, take the engine. So the middle's there. So you got these 2 yellows on the left, 2 pinks on the right. You want to axes the yellow ones to the left hand side, the far side, their nearest end basically. So do that. Do that again. And the pinks go to their closest end. 2. And that's a basic construction. So if I take a dupe of this, knowing my luck, I've probably done something wrong. You also get this quite cool effect that I like to call the draconian pop. If I take it and I freeze it, it all pops out. That is the basic construction. It looks very odd when it's going, and that's pretty much what it does. And because of the way the thrusters are put in, they push out from the crank when you put in a plus value. So they should never try and switch over to the other side, which Slapper can do when you really ramp it up. And that's the basic construction. For timing, this engine you can time for a perfect 180 degrees and you only need half as many outputs as thrusters. So, rather than sit here and explain how to do wire, I'm going to hand over to Draconian's engine building thing. No, beacon timing thing, because beacon sensors are better than gyroscopes, because gyroscopes suck utter donkey balls. And you can go watch that, because that covers everything. I'm not going to make a tutorial when there's a far better one already out there. You know, I've done quite a few, and most of mine are crap. So yeah, go watch Draconian's video. And that's how to make a 1x1 swinger engine. A very large one in my case.